running a little late today. 7 minutes late. Welcome to Brushing Teeth with Robert. April 22nd, 2020. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. So, let's see if they take this down with copyright issues. So, here we are. We've made it. We have made it. We have made it to midweek. Of course, this is the Wednesday Brushing Teeth with Robert. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for making it to midweek. So good for all of us. Very good for all of us. Listen, of course, if you stumble upon this, I think everybody who I know that was going to subscribe has already subscribed. So if you stumble upon this, please, whatever, wherever it is, it might be here. I think it might be here. Subscribe if you like it. Fucking subscribe if you don't like it. I don't care. Please do that. Subscribe. You know, I've been doing this through our world being on fire, so it has been actually kind of nice to do. And so, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. It's you know, I know my voice can be grating at times, but you've been joining me, and so I appreciate it. And I'd appreciate it more if you subscribe, of course. So, I don't plan on stopping this at least yet. So let's, I don't know. You're welcome. You're welcome for that. It's been a weird week. Cities and counties are starting to open up, as we call it. I'm trying not to get political on this podcast. I think that on the last podcast that I was on, speaking of which, if you have a chance, you should go listen to it. It's called the Jello Podcast. It's available on iTunes, Stitcher, many more places than this is. It was produced way better by a very good friend who gave me this equipment to do this on. So it's called the Jello Podcast, and we rarely got political. I think every once in a while we throw something in there, but it wasn't really, it was not political in any way. So all I'll say is that there are cities and counties that are starting to open up. And regardless of whether you are conspiratorial minded or whether you are realistic about this entire situation, my opinion is those people are fucking idiots. So we'll move on from that. It's been a good week. It's gone just about as quickly as I think it should go with all of us. I don't think it's gone fast. I don't think it's gone slow. I think it's just gone pretty fucking normal. So I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're keeping your head above water. That's the big thing, you know. Let's all keep our heads above water, wake up above ground every day. So thank you for doing that. So let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this off. I'm going to preface this by saying that I try to do 3 topics. I do this weird thing where I organize, and I do it in 3 segments, and there are 3 hopefully 10-minute segments. The middle segment is going to be very boring. So please stick through it, because the 3rd segment is really good stuff. I promise you it is good stuff. I promise it's stuff you're going to want to hear. 2nd segment, I kind of softballed it in. I'm just going to let you know. I was a little lazy about the 2nd segment. And those of y'all that know me well and hear me prepare for this, I prepared for this maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours ago. I maybe started brainstorming that long ago. I think what it is as adults, we have a lot on our mind, and especially since this isn't anything I do to make any money, I am concentrating. My anxiety is concentrated in a different direction. So I basically put this into my procrastination folder and prepare at the very last minute. So as if you can't tell. As if you can't tell. As if you can't tell that I don't really truly prepare for this. So, but the third segment, trust me, if you stick through that middle segment, I won't make it long. I will not. I'll try to run through it as quick as I can. All right. But I want to talk about dating come the post coronavirus age. All right. I want to talk about what happens whenever there is dating that happens. It's going to be odd, right? It's going to be odd. Oh, that one was better. It's going to be odd. It's going to be weird. So I remember whenever I would approach women as a stranger, and one of my favorite places to approach women was the grocery store. What the hell are you going to do? If you're a grocery store hitter-oner, like, what are you going to do? You have to maintain distance. I went to the grocery store today. It's weird. If you've been to the grocery store within the last month, you can't tell me it's not weird. Everybody is they even have these little dots on the floor that show you where to stand. So are you going to yell at a woman or a man from 6 feet away? What are you going to do? On top of the fact that you can't tell what anybody looks like. Like, how do you tell in order to get into the gas station, which I went to today, or a grocery store, which of course I went to today, they won't let you in unless you're wearing a mask. They will not even let you in. You can't even go in. So what are you going to do? You don't know what people look like. I thought about it today because I saw a really, really good looking woman, and I thought, how do you know her face is good looking? You can't tell. You don't know. When this entire, even I look good with that much of my face covered. I am not an attractive man by any means, and yet I look all right. I look pretty decent like this. I kind of the mask might be, well, it's more than likely it probably will be a mandatory part of my my outfit from this step forward. But how are you going to tell what a woman or a man looks like with half their face covered? That's got to be very, very hard. But it's funny because I remember, I don't know if it was a movie I saw, but it may have been a Muslim man that I talked to. When I asked him, how do you know if a Muslim woman is good looking? And they said it's in the eyes. They said you can tell in the eyes whether they are good looking or not, and that's the attractiveness. And I call total bullshit on that, by the way. Absolute bullshit. There's no way just from the eyes, from this point up, you can tell whether somebody's good looking. There's no way. With a burqa, you definitely can't, because you don't see let's say somebody was really ugly let's say somebody was really good looking right here. Okay? Just right here, somebody is good looking. Okay? Well, with a burqa, you don't get any of this either. You get none of this. So you don't even you can't even get I'm going to say this out loud. I'm going to warn you because I'm going to say this out loud, all right? You don't even get a butterface situation, right? You don't even get they're not very good looking here, but they're really, but this is okay. This will totally make up for all of this. With a burqa, you don't even get that. Luckily, we're not wearing burqa masks, it's full things, but it's going to be really hard to hit on strangers. So of course, I think online wise, that's going to shoot through the roof. Like online dating is going to shoot through the roof because you're going to be able to see what people look like. Unless it runs into a situation where when I online dated, there was common complaints I would hear from my friends. Women, one of the complaints I heard a lot from them was the complaint that all the men, like a majority of the men, seem to pose with either they're shooting guns or they're catching fish or they're with their truck. Now, I want to say that I am in Texas, and I know there are people out there who do not live in Texas. I know there are people who listen that do not live in Texas. But I have a feeling from what I've seen on the net, that was a common complaint about women. All right? And for men, one of the common complaints about profile pictures on internet dating was the fact that all women... Hold on, I got to do something with this. Okay. All women, they either pose... Let's see if I can do this real quick. I'm going to do this. Don't pay no attention to those two flowers. They pose like this. Like they did like this. Like that hip thing, like if you could see me totally, you'd be like that's horrible. I should have not done that. But you know what I mean. Like they did either that, like that hip thing, you know, like where they were kind of like showing themselves from like a 3/4 view, or they all posed like they were going to festivals all the time. Like all the time, women had profile pictures of them, and they were never in the festival. They were always like out by the porta potties. You could never see the porta potties, but you knew they were right behind. And the entire crowd, like the stage was really far away, and the entire crowd was kind of far away. You know what I mean? And so that was a very common complaint. So I'm wondering if the complaint now is going to be that everybody's wearing masks on their profile pictures. I wonder if that's going to be a big thing in internet dating, is the COVID mask on internet dating profiles. Because then that even makes it harder. Like, how do you even, like, how, I don't know, my computer seems like it froze right then. That makes it harder because not only can you not see them when they're strangers and you're out and about, but you can't see them. Hold on, I messed up things. You can't see them when they are, you can't see them when strangers, and you can't see them with their profile pictures. So now you don't really know if they're good looking. And so it's got to be very, very hard to date in the post-COVID world. And I was also wondering today so those people who internet date, there are specific websites, of course, tailored to specific tastes. One a lot of people don't know about is JDate. JDate is for Jewish people, which, of course, anybody who knows me knows I love the Jews. I do. Jewish women I'm a huge fan of. So JDate is one, and that is specifically for Jewish people. All right, and then you have Christian dating websites. You have a farm website. You have a farm dating website where it's people who are specifically rural and farm people. Also, I call bullshit on that. There's no way there's that many fucking farm people out there that join the dating site. There's tons. I'm sure there are tons of people, city people, posing as country people on those dating sites, because there's no way that exists as its own entity. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like a COVID, like a COVID dating site. I also was wondering if whether you're positive or negative or have the antibodies, I wonder if that's going to play into this as well. I don't like this glare that's going on there. I'll figure that out. Just give me some time. I'm figuring shit out, all right? I'm wondering if there's going to be like a COVID positive online dating site that's specifically for those people, or if when you date, if you're going to have like your card with you, you're going to have a card with you that shows that you are, negative or have been negative or have the antibodies for COVID. I'm wondering that. The reason I wondered that is because of this. A little fact that a few people know about me is that in my wallet, I have carried with me for a very long time this card. This card shows whether I have STDs. By the way, negative, okay? Fucking negative on everything, all right? But I have carried this card in my wallet, and it shows that, that you're negative on STDs. So I wonder if they're going to do this. I wonder if dating is going to be the same thing. If that's a thing that's going to happen. So dating in the post-COVID world is obviously going to be rough. I think. I could be wrong. It might go back to normal. It might just be a normal thing. But something tells me it's going to be different. It's going to be different, But again, I'm wrong in literally 75% of all things that exist in my life ever. So, the good part about all of this, the good part about me thinking about all of this is that we've hit the 17-minute mark, and I don't have to do the second segment, so you don't have to sit through the boring part. So, you're welcome for my incessant rambling, because I have saved you a whole boring part on magazines that no longer exist. Yeah, that would be horrible. You're right. It would have really sucked. It probably wouldn't have really sucked because there were some really good magazines. The main reason I was thinking about it is because I recently was gifted a subscription to Mad Magazine that I absolutely love, but I will digress, and I will not subject you to the torture of hearing an old man ramble about magazines that no longer exist. Wow, I was really reaching. I really did not prepare well, right? I truly did not prepare well. By the way, if you ever hear a ding or a buzz or something like that from my podcast, it's because my cell phone's hooked up here, and that's the reason why. So just, try to ignore it. So let's completely scoot. Look at this. Look, this is what I'm going to do. With my little stylus that I like using, I'm going to X out all of that. It's all X'd. So you don't have to worry about it. By the way, there was one really good magazine that nobody, very few people know about or have heard, that if you ever see me in public, you should ask me about, because it was a great magazine and it's worth mentioning. So, I have recently been kind of, things have been coming around to where I seem to be thinking about parenting again. And I think about, for those of y'all who don't know me, I have raised a phenomenal son. A very, very successful son. It's one of those occurrences where a failure of a parent has raised a fantastic son, in which the son still likes the failure of the parent. Like, normally it doesn't happen like that. Like, if a failure raises a child, normally, how about that? If a failure raises a successful and responsible child, normally that child will reach adulthood in their 20s, and they will grow to hate that failure of a parent. Now, I am speaking out of turn here. For all I know, my son will comment down here that he hates me, but trust me, he loves me. Anybody will tell you he loves me. We talk to each other all the time. We miss each other horribly during this situation. We were hanging out every Saturday and Sunday, working on projects together before this all hit, and it kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of sucks. I miss him. I miss him dearly. I do. I miss him quite a bit. And let's see if I can. There we go. Let's see if that works. I do. I miss him a lot, and I believe he misses me because he does tell me he does. He also he just. I wasn't a failure as a parent. I am a failure as a human being. Does that make sense, right? So I think that's fair to say. And so I have decided to tell you all, I'm going to guide you. If you have kids, if you're thinking about having kids, I'm going to guide you a little bit. I'm going to give you what I believe are a few rules that will make your. I'm going to give you a few good parenting rules. Consider me the Dr. Spock for just a few minutes. For those of y'all that don't know who Dr. Spock is, fuck Dr. Spock. Research him. He was not good at. He did not give good parenting tips in any way, shape, or form. He was very bad at it. So, these, by the way, are not in order of importance. These are merely in of what I thought of. All right. So do not take, like my first suggestion, do not take it as gospel. All these suggestions are just suggestions of what can help you with raising a successful and responsible child. All right. So my first one is push your fucking kid. Push your kid. Push him. Push her. If your kid is coming up to you and being irrational, or like, and I'm not talking about when they're teenagers, I'm talking when they're like kids, like 4, 5, 6 years old. That sounded worse. But trust me, it's not. Like, if your kid at 4 years old or 5 years old is coming up to you crying about some bullshit, about something that you know doesn't matter, and they don't think it should matter, fucking push them. Push them in the face. Ask them, go, hey, what are you crying about? And when they go, oh, I'm crying because I dropped my spoon of peanut butter on the ground that's stupid. Push them in the fucking face. Smush them. Tell them that's a dumb reason to be crying. And actually physically push them in the face. Don't push. I don't care. Push them as hard as that they sit down or pop on their butts, or just push them so they back up. Push them enough so they realize that sometimes your complaints are not valid. And that takes a lot of people a long time to learn. Sometimes there are people into young adulthood. It takes them into young adulthood that they don't realize that all of their complaints are not valid, that all their complaints don't matter. So the quicker you can teach a kid that sometimes you have stupid fucking complaints and nobody should fucking care about them, the quicker they will be able to deal with disappointment. So, your fucking sister took your toy. You have 100 fucking toys. Who gives a fuck? Get the fuck out of here. Go play with another goddamn toy. You know? Don't hear it. Let them know it's dumb. Push them. Get them the fuck away from you. Because you're an adult. You have better fucking things to do than have to worry about whether, whether the dog licked their fucking face. You know, something stupid like that. Who cares? I don't care. I'm paying bills. Can't you see this? I'm trying to watch fucking TV after a fucking day of paying bills. You're complaining stupid. Go the fuck away. Push fucking kid. Push him. Okay? So, put your kid on a city bus at 8 years old. And I'm not talking about take your kid and put him on a bus. Start riding with your kid on a city bus at a young age, and then somewhere in the neighborhood of about 8 years old, put your kid on the bus by himself. Tell your kid where you're going or where you are, and show them how to get on the bus by themselves and make it to you. Put them on a bus by themselves. And I'm trying really hard not to bring up anecdotal evidence, but I'm going to. I put my son on a bus at a very young age to get to my work. And in order to, first of all, we took public transportation for a very long time. Not because I didn't have a car, just because I like it. It's an adventure. You get to see crazy people. Shit gets weird on a bus. Even more of a reason to put your kid on a city bus at a very young age. All right? They need to be able to deal with and see and how to ignore crazy shit that goes on around them. They need to know how to do that. They need to know that they don't have to point out every crazy thing that's going on between people in the world. Sometimes crazy shit needs to happen, and they need to be able to tune it out and look forward and get on with fucking life. And so what I would do with my son is when I was first teaching my son how to get on the bus by himself, of course he was worried. They're going to be worried at the age of 8. They're going to be worried about it, all right? So he asked me, well, how do I know how to get to you? And I go, well, where am I? Where am I going to be? And he points. And I go, well, then you go to a bus stop, and any bus that's going that direction, you get on. You get on that bus. And then he goes, well, what if the bus goes a different direction? And I go, well, then you get off that bus. You go back to where that bus turned, and then you find another bus that's still going in that direction. Like, that's how easy it is. Like, that's really how easy it is. And so teaching your kids at a very young age to ignore crazy shit, to get around by themselves, to be self-sufficient and getting around by themselves will help you out immensely as a parent. It will make you feel very, very happy whenever they get older and can get the fuck around by themselves. All right? So, one thing I was very, very strict about was bedtimes. Do not let your kids fuck you on bedtimes. Don't let them. Do not let them. My son had an 8:30 bedtime. Again, I'm not trying to make this anecdotal, but this is the only advice I have is things I did. And again, I raised a very successful kid. All right? So be very strict on that. Do not mess around. 8:30 bedtime when they're a kid is 8:30 bedtime. There is no staying up. There is no hanging out with me. This 8:30 is the time to go to bed. I don't really care if you're going to sleep or not. But you know where you're going to be? In your bed in your room. That's where you're going to be. There are two huge reasons why. There are two huge reasons why you are non-negotiable on this. First reason, if you are married. All right? If you're married, that 8:30 to 10 with your partner is very important. It's important. That's an hour and a half. Sometimes parents don't go to bed until 11 o'clock, 12. Who cares? After 8:30, that's time with y'all without that annoying, without that having to get things for somebody, without having to listen to somebody. You can just be with yourselves. You don't have to hear that kid. You don't have to deal with that kid. You have to get things for that kid. You don't have to. If that kid is in his or her bedroom after 8:30, you're done. Now, shoot, that kid doesn't exist. Kid ain't gonna die in there. I mean, kid might die in there. Yeah, there are different things that can happen, but who cares at that point? Kids, that's not your fault. That's not your fault. You didn't give the kid or make available anything to the kid to die. Kid dies, the kid's stupid. The kid did something to kill itself. But for you and your wife or your husband, You have time with each other. It's quiet. It's you can just be with each other. And that's very important, because the time in which a husband and wife or a boyfriend and girlfriend are taking care of a child while the child is awake, you are not developing y'all's relationship. You're developing your relationship with that kid. That's all you're doing. So put the kid to bed. Put the kid to bed. Do not let the kid sleep with you. Don't let the kid get in your bed. That is dumb. That is stupid. I cannot stress that enough either. Put the kid in its own room, going to bed by itself. Have that good time. Now, second point, if you're single, get it in. Invite a girl over. Invite a boy over. Get it in. Who cares? Kid's asleep. Nurture that part of yourself of being a single parent. You have no time to yourself. When you're at work, you're paying bills to make that kid, to allow that kid to survive. When you are awake, you are making sure that kid survives. When the kid's in bed, get it in, man. Hook it up. Get the person over. Don't be afraid. Do it in the living room. Do it in the kitchen. Go in a fucking spare bathroom. I don't care. Do it. Do it somewhere. Get it in, man. Do it in your bedroom. Bedroom's right next door to theirs. Gives a shit. Wait until they're asleep, though. I could say that's probably a huge mistake. Maybe I made quite a bit. But I'm just saying, who cares? Get it in, man. You're an adult. You're an adult who needs that. You're a single adult who needs some dick or some pussy or whatever. Get it in. All right? That's a good rule. Have time to yourself. I'm also going over the 30-minute mark. I don't care. I'm going to give you another rule. All right? Now, see, I want to give you the right one. Because I've got quite a few here, but I don't want to go too far over. All right? Okay. All right. This one is going to be hard. So I just want to say that right now. And again, I don't care whether you take any of this to advice. This is merely what I did to raise a healthy and successful child. Show your kids your failings. Be okay. Be okay with not only not being perfect, be okay with being damaged. Be okay with showing them that there are parts of your life that are fucked up. There are parts of your life that are not only not stellar, but just aren't good. That you just aren't good at. Don't be afraid to do that. If you're bad at relationships, show them that. If y'all are poor, show them that. If you're rich and you're still a shitty person, show them that. Let them know. Let them know that you know what? I have all this money and I'm just shitty at having money. Like, let them know this, because it's going to let them know. It's going to give, in my opinion, it's going to give them realistic expectations of humans as creatures, and that we aren't a sitcom, and we aren't a melodrama, and we aren't a TV show or a movie. Nothing is going to be wrapped up in a neat bow. There are going to be fantastic aspects of you. But in the same respect, because there is that yin, there is going to be that yang. There are going to be parts of you that are just shitty. That you are not a great person at times. And in fact, it might be a 50-50 split. It might be. And let them be okay with that. Now, I'm not saying flaunt it. I'm not saying wear it as a crown. I'm not saying wear it as a badge of honor. But I am saying don't be afraid to not present yourself with the flawed aspects. Oh, here's another good point of that. Don't be afraid to present the flawed aspects of yourself. And this is the reason why. Be okay and be open with those failings in respect of how you were raised and how that ripple effect happened today. Be okay with that, because that will show them that parenting is fucking hard and it's not an exact science. And whenever they become adults and they look back at how you raised them, they will be more forgiving. They'll be more forgiving. They really will. They'll be more forgiving because they'll understand that there are aspects of everyone's personality, 100% of the world's personality, that was affected by the way they were raised. So now that they are a grown and responsible adult, they know that there are going to be portions of them that are going to lend themselves to a psychosomatic failing, and it's manageable. It's manageable. It is. It's manageable. Though I was raised in kind of a rough home, though I was raised around a very rough social set, though I still have not become successful in any way, shape, or form, but tried. The failings and successes are manageable in respect to how I was raised, just like your child can be. It's okay. It's okay. It's all right to not be perfect. In fact, it's kind of better to not be a perfect parent. And I would hope in saying all this that you not only took a few. Let me preface this by saying I am not in any way, shape, or form a great human being. I am, by all means of respect, I don't know why I just did that, but by all intent and purposes, I have a ton of learning and growing to do still at my old age. But that being said, whenever the wine made me lose my train of thought. It did. The wine, blame on the wine. The wine made me lose train of thought. Oh, hopefully you can take a little piece of this away for your adulthood. Hopefully this will help you a little bit with your adulthood. And hopefully this will help you realize that though you may have been raised a certain way, though you may hold a little animosity against your parents, it's okay, because some parents could only do what they could only do what they were given with. They could only use the tools they were handed, and I hope that helps. I hope that helps you realize that though no parent is innocent, that sometimes some parents you may think were really shitty, they did the best they could with what they had. Just a thought. By the way, I have more parenting tips. I'm probably going to share them because I really like that segment, and I hope you enjoyed this. I went to the 40-minute mark. I did. I'm not going to keep it much longer. I already kept you 10 minutes after class. So if I made you late for your next class, let your teacher know. I'll give you a slip in the next class, or just let them know to come talk to me, and I'll let them know that I kept you a little too long. So thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening. I had a good time, and thank you for making it to Wednesday. Thank you for making it to the 22nd. We all did a very, very good job. And I know you did too. I know you did. So thank you very much for tuning in to Brushing Teeth with Robert. Please, feel free. Subscribe. If you like to subscribe.
A que me ponga a cantar de los tres vicios del mal, cigarro, cerveza, tequila.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Compadre, no ves, me estás pisando los pies, te la debes de cortar.
Could somebody do me a favor? Tell Logan that he owes me a little bit of money. Brushing Teeth with Robert. April 22nd, 2020. See you on Saturday for the live show. Please subscribe.